You've heard of Forbes 30 Under 30. Well, today we're talking about USF Muma College of Business's 25 Under 25 program. Coming up next. Hey, Honor Schools, welcome to the Honor Roll Podcast, the flagship podcast of the Judy Genshaft Honors College Podcast Network. I'm your host, Fabiana Requena, a third-year student studying marketing and business analytics at the University of South Florida and a member of the Honors College. Today, my co-host is Caroline Merriman, a fourth-year student studying English and biology. Welcome back to the podcast, Caroline.
Thanks for having me today.
Well, as always, we like to start off the podcast with one big question. So my question this week is, where do you see yourself at 25?
I'd say at 25, I see myself in grad school. I want to have my gap year to work and do research, but I'm really excited to eventually be going to grad school in the future.
That's really exciting, Caroline. For me, I think I see myself also probably during that time going to grad school. After graduation, I plan on working full time, but I would really like to get my MBA maybe somewhere abroad. So we'll see where that takes me. Well, today we're joined by honors students Rylee King, Emilie Leyva, Minh Ha Pham, and Joshua Streitmatter, 4 of this year's 25 Under 25 award recipients. Stay tuned as we talk about all their great achievements, challenges, leadership positions, and what has set them apart as award recipients.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Hammond. I am a senior in biomedical sciences. My favorite honors experience would be related to my art and environment class. I got to learn how to 3D clay print, and we got to work with oyster restoration structures and design. I also ended up creating a club based off of this class. It's called the 3D Hab Lab, and we've been running all year. It's very cool.
All right, today we have honor students Rylee King, Emilie Leyva, Minh Ha Pham, and Joshua Streitmatter joining us today to talk about what it's like to be recognized as part of the USF Muma College of Business 25 Under 25 program. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Would you each like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Rylee King. I'm a second-year senior, and I'm majoring in finance with a concentration in real estate, and I'm minoring in sales, and I'm involved in the Real Estate Society as the marketing associate.
Hi, my name is Emilie. I'm a marketing major with a concentration in entrepreneurship and a minor in management. And I was the former co-president of the American Marketing Association. And I was also on the Honors College Student Council as co-chair of marketing and PR.
So my name is Minh Ha Pham. I'm currently a junior, upcoming senior in business analytics and information system. I also have a second major in econometrics and quantitative economics. And I say that I was the president of the Google Developer Student Club over at the College of Engineering, and it was probably the biggest part of me last year, so I think that's it.
Hi, my name is Joshua Streitmatter. I'm a graduating senior studying finance with a minor in real estate. Currently, I work at Eshmel Land Company as a land advisor.
So for those who aren't familiar with, the business students or your world in Muma, would you mind explaining what the 25 Under 25 program is exactly?
So I guess they just take, probably 200 or something applications in from students that kind of qualified to apply. I think you got invited to apply. And then from that, they had a group of judges that were, to my knowledge, just kind of working professionals in the Tampa Bay area. And they just read through the resumes and looked at things like academics, extracurriculars, community involvement, community service, and they kind of just determined who they thought was most deserving of recognition. Not to sound arrogant, but.
And I just want to clarify this in the answers, you don't have to be a senior to apply, right?
Yeah, there's no restriction whatsoever. I think there's a GPA restriction though, above 2.0, but that's about it.
Was there a moment, event, or person that kind of propelled you, motivated you to apply for the 25 Under 25 program?
So it was my boyfriend actually. So he kind of saw through everything that I kind of suffered last year of the course, academic journey, finding an internship, and also leading the club. So we'll say that you have walked a pretty inspiring path this year. So I want you to get recognized. I want you to get awarded by it. So I try to apply. I think you will get it. So I apply the day before it closed. but I was lucky enough to get it. So I say that all the credit thanks to my boyfriend and everything. He's not even in business. He's just like, I want you to get recognized by something for what you did. So yeah.
Were you guys like really nervous to apply? I know it's like something that is like, it's kind of like the pinnacle of achievement in like Muma, but also it's like super, super competitive. So what did it feel like kind of like putting yourself out there?
I don't want to like underplay anything, but I definitely feel like it was a little bit of a shot in the dark just because so many people apply and there's so many different kinds of people that do so many different kind of things. So how do you compare someone, you know, who's the president of a club to someone who's doing an internship at a big company? So looking at all the other type of people that did so many other different things, you know, I didn't know exactly what the criteria would be. So in that sense, it was a little nerve-wracking because to do all that work and to not get it would feel kind of, you know, underwhelming. But I would say that was the biggest thing that made me a little nervous about it.
Yeah, to kind of play off her answer, I remember applying for it and like I didn't really know how big of like competitive it was. And then at the ceremony when I'm hearing all these people, all their accomplishments, like their double majors and stuff like that, I'm like, holy cow, how did, like, this was pretty competitive. So I think it was more of an after the fact realization for me.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends, and I've met a lot of people in previous years who've gotten it, and it's kind of crazy, like, the diverse kind of range of work that they do, whether it's, like, I remember one year, she was, like, there was a girl who was, like, a famous, like, Olympian or something like that. Maybe I'm speaking wrong, and I was like, that's crazy. I didn't even know we had that at USF. But it was really cool to see kind of all the different people. But when I did it, I was like, all right, let me just try. And I quickly submitted an application. I think I was probably, like, one of the first people to do it because I was just like, let me get it out of the way. But it was, like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because there's so many people who get it. So I was like, maybe I have a chance, maybe I don't. But I know that there's been, like, really strong applicants. So I'm really excited to have been chosen because there's like a lot of really good people who applied.
How did it feel once you were chosen? You know, you received the email, and what were kind of like the next steps?
It was pretty funny for me actually because I have a double body at USF that I didn't know about. They have the almost exact same email as me with a number 1 at the end of the email. So Muma accidentally sent it to that person instead. So I didn't even know if I will get it or not. Like I apply and I just kind of forget about it. And I was in Dubai during spring break actually, and then I have a call from someone at Muma and it's like, is it, am I talking to Minh Ha Pham? I was like, yeah, but why would you call me? And she said that you are selected for the 25 under 25 program, and I just want to confirm if you have received the email, if you have booked your professional headshot, and then all the marketing promotional material stuff from Muma. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't receive anything. So that was pretty funny in a way, but it was also pretty, again, rewarding because Muma also projected as the best 25 people of that year in the college. So
like, what's the benefit of being 25 under 25? Like, are you inducted into some kind of like network of people? Like, how do you move forward with the award?
I don't know if it's as apparent as that, but like me personally, I'll go to like some networking events that are kind of in the downtown Tampa area. And just from kind of like LinkedIn, people that follow the college, people that follow me, they'll come up to me and just, you know, kind of congratulate you. So like, it's like a great way to put your name out there. I mean, it's not like we're a secret society and we all have these business connections now, but it's like a nice recognition. And I think to like be shown as 25 out of the 8,000 strong college that is the USF Muma College of Business is like a nice achievement that, you know, people recognize.
Yeah, there's no like, it's not like a scholarship or anything. It's mostly just like getting your name out there. But it's like pretty cool. I've gone to like, I've been just like sitting in the Muma atrium and people will come up and say congratulations. I'm like, that was kind of scary. I don't know who you are, but thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, there's nothing, but it's cool because there is a really good alumni group that's a part of it. So probably in the future, it'll be kind of more like as it builds and builds and builds, more robust. But like right now, it's just like, you know, the people who you're with and like friends from the past that are like have gotten it too.
Well, I'd like to take a moment to kind of focus a little bit about what each of you specialize in and what experience you think most contributed to being selected for 25 under 25. So Emilie, we'll start with you. You've been highly involved in AMA, the Marketing Association here on campus, organizing a lot of major events and raising impressive sponsorships. So can you share a little bit how these experiences will translate into your future career?
Yeah, so AMA is a very big organization on campus, and there's a lot of different functions to it. In the past, I was director of fundraising. I directed their Scramble golf tournament, which is like a large-scale community golf tournament that we raised funds at, and we raised 26 grand the year that I was leading it, that Fabi helped with. And I was also co-president last semester, and I don't necessarily want to do just marketing in my career, but the skills that I've built in AMA, like a marketing association, have been really valuable because it's taught me, how to work in a group, how to lead a team, so many just random skills that I've picked up. I got to plan like a huge golf tournament that like I'd never stepped foot on a golf course before. I got so many good connections and good references through that, working with so many people. And yeah, it's like that's probably the thing that I would say got me 25 under 25. People really like to see the 26 grand and 30,000 raised through like just general fundraising efforts on my resume. So I'd probably say that that was the key thing. But AMA has been really great. It's where I've met like a lot of friends. We go to like a conference in New Orleans every year, and I just got back from that. We are like one of the top 20 chapters in the US, which is really cool. So it's been a really great experience.
Yeah, could you tell us a little bit about like your conference, like what you got to lead like while you were there?
Yeah, so it's called the International Collegiate Conference that AMA National runs, and it's like a 3-day huge conference in New Orleans, like downtown. There's like 1,000 students that go. So you go and you meet a bunch of other chapters, a bunch of other colleges. We start to build friendships. Like we're friends with all the Florida chapters, and we have like little hangouts here and there throughout the conference. But this year I competed in 2 competitions. I didn't win anything, but it was really fun. I did like a marketing strategy competition and a design lab, or a simulation kind of thing. And then our chapter got invited to speak on 2 topics. So one was like just how to be like a top chapter. And I got to speak on how to plan an amazing marketing week, which is kind of an event that we have in the fall every year. So I spoke with our co-president or our co-vice president on that. And that was really fun. I've never like had to do like large scale public speaking like that. So it was really cool. And you get to hear from a lot of other chapters, do some Q&As. And then there's like a lot of lectures. I know like different companies will come and sponsor certain sections. So they'll do like networking tips, like specific marketing topics, things like that. And then there's a huge career fair. Marriott was there, Google was there. In the past, like Mattel has been there, which was really cool to like meet those people and like try to get those internships. And yeah, it's really fun. They give out all of the awards for the year. So we submit for like a million competitions, like website, fundraising events, things like that we do. And it's really cool. We get to like have all of our work that we do so much for throughout the year kind of just like end with like a cherry on the top.
Yeah, I feel like AMA opens like a lot of doors for you and is a really good place to get involved, especially like as a marketing major. If you have like no experience as a second year student, I think it's a really good way to get involved. Minh Ha, would you like to share your work with data analytics and the Google Developer Student Club? Can you tell us a little bit what it's like to lead a student organization?
Absolutely. So it also a very weird worry when I first joined the organization. They were mainly in the College of Engineering and focused mostly on computer science and computer engineering majors. So a business student like me, when I first joined, we have a lot of talk about it, like, oh, now we have business student, huh? That kind of thing. But I first joined to help my friend with the marketing because it's pretty overwhelming. And again, in the College of Engineering, we don't really have people specialized in marketing like we have in business. Like I want to recruit your AMA people to my club in a way because we need that kind of like marketing push. So yeah, I first joined as a marketing lead, then I make my way up to vice president and then president. And something that I really like about my club is that they are really welcoming and they would accept any kind of major. They was surprised when I first joined, but then I told them that, okay, I'm studying business analytics. I need to do some work with like data to get a job in the future. So I don't want to downplay Muma in any ways because they do teach us really good skill in data analytics. But then all of that is just like top of the iceberg. So having that kind of like mentorship, getting that kind of like support from my clubmates who's like actually specializing in programming language, data analytics, building all that kind of like dashboard was really, really helpful. So that's the first thing I want to say about my club. And for the last year is definitely one of the most challenging experience that I have. But again, just really rewarding in a way. We organized the first hackathon ever in our club. It's something that we just kind of like thought about it. I'm not sure if you guys are already familiar with the concept of the hackathon. So it's like also a business case strategy in a way, but then you sit down for like 24 hours, 48 hours with your group and then trying to build something with it. But instead of just like a business case study, it'll be like an actual prototype with coding and everything's like working basically. So yeah, we organized that kind of like first hackathon ever because we've seen that, okay, USF hasn't had a hackathon in quite some time. Let's do it. Like, we want to be in a hackathon, but right now there's no hackathon, so we're just gonna build a hackathon by ourselves. It was really rushing. We start thinking about it during the winter break, and then a lot of hardship. We reach out to sponsorship and everything, and some of them like they agreed, but then a week before the hackathon itself, they just like they quit. They just dipped out of the thing. So yeah, we still managed to raise like 5,000. It's still like a baby number compared to AMA, but I'm really proud about it because it's not a small organization at all. It's still like one of the largest one in College of Engineering, but we have never done any kind of like sponsorship before. They have never even thought about it. It's just like something that we do a lot in business, like in the Muma. I have a joke with my friend that everything you see in Muma was pretty much has a name on it, like sponsor. Like, okay, that big dashboard over there has a name. That stairs also has a name. So yeah, it's just something that new I brought to the club this year. And again, it's just really good having like making new friends, learning new experience. And yeah, I say that the person I am right now was 70% made up by that experience being in the Google Developer Student Club.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you like went out and did something that hadn't been done before. I think you like learn so much more when you're not like just doing the thing that the person before you in that position did as well. I want to kind of touch back on how like you got involved with Google Developers Club. Like I don't think a lot of like business students would have thought like, hey, let me go to a club in the College of Engineering. And I think a lot of students here are overwhelmed about like, where do I get involved where like my passion kind of meets something that can like build skills for me. How do you find like those specific opportunities? And how do you know when to stay? Like, yeah, this is the thing that I should stay and like keep working up the ladder and like stay involved in.
Personally, I just want to get involved with something that my friends do. Because like we're in a big group of friends and I was pretty lost at that time. Don't know what clubs I should join and all of that. But I feel like the people in my club creates more of like a family vibe than not just like clubs that you kind of like have to work to get that internship. You have to grind and everything. They really try to help everyone else. So that's the reason why I decided to stay with the club. My friend unfortunately left already, but I also found new friends that I would consider like lifetime friends in the club right now. And they're like pretty much there in every step of my journey. They help me with internship interview. They help me with like coursework. And yeah, we had meetings until like 4 or 5 in the morning. So yeah.
Have you guys like found similar situations in like the places that you've got involved in?
Yeah, I think AMA has like a very similar vibe where you kind of get like a family feel. Your first meetings, it's a little bit scary just because there's so many people and they all know each other super well. So it's a little bit like scary the first couple times, but once you stick it through and kind of like find your community, going like we have like committee meetings, which is like where like the bonding really happens, I think, rather than just like, general group meetings, where you kind of like find your group, find your people that, have similar interests with you and you kind of like start to bond that way. I think it's really good. And yeah, like for like trying to find the most value, like once you go and you kind of like see the impact and the scale of everything you do, for me at least, that was like what got me into AMA, where I was like, oh wow, they do so much, like there's so much opportunity here. And then I slowly like found my friends and then I recruited a lot of my friends to come join. I like converted a lot of psych majors into marketing majors. And like I got them all to come by, and that way you feel more comfortable. You have like people you're used to there, and when everybody's like friends with each other, they're a lot more likely to kind of like work towards the same goal. So that was really motivating.
I'll say that, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, just to touch on that. Like what we're doing is basically community building. So we want everyone to be part of that community.
Are you interested in graduate study, prestigious scholarships, studying abroad? Serving all 3 USF campuses, the Office of National Scholars, ONS, mentors USF students for prestigious awards and scholarship programs focused on research, international education, graduate study, and intellectual development. If you're interested in applying for awards like Fulbright, Rhodes, or Marshall, don't wait. Meet with an ONS advisor to discover what's possible. You can visit the ONS website or drop by their office on the 2nd floor of the Judy Genshaft Honors College building to learn more.
Rylee, would you like to share how you discovered your passion for real estate? You were previously, going into career in medicine. So would you mind sharing what caused that shift? Like what kind of inspired you?
So I will start from the very beginning. It was actually in my senior year of high school. And even further back than that, I just thought I was going to go into medical my whole life, but not necessarily because that's what I wanted to do. But it was just kind of like a default. I didn't know what else to do. And in my high school, we were a magnet high school, which means you kind of like went into a certain field 3 or 4 years, like medical, law, business, like the basic magnets. And so I picked the medical magnet, so I had to stick that out through all 4 years of high school. But that proved to me almost even more that that isn't what I really wanted to do. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I don't not like want to love what I'm doing every day. So my senior year of high school, I was kind of confused. At that time you're applying to college, and I kind of didn't know what to put for my major because I didn't want to put something that I didn't really want to do. And then I actually just came across a video on social media of a young entrepreneur. He was a real estate agent, and he was just kind of talking about his experience. He kind of went through the same boat and was just talking about getting his license and working his way up from there. So that was like the very beginning spark that got me into it. I like the idea of just getting to help people, talking to people every day, like not sitting inside a desk, not having a rigid 9 to 5, like being able to go out, doing things on my own time. So that was the very beginning that started it all. And then so when I was applying to USF, I was pretty sure that I was going to come here. So I was looking through all the majors, like, okay, what could kind of correlate with real estate? And then I saw that the finance major had a concentration in real estate. So I was, okay, like that is what I'm going to start with. And then I eventually picked up a minor in sales, which has also helped me a lot because I feel like I actually haven't been the best like public speaker. So I feel like in that sense, that has kind of helped me a lot. And then the other biggest thing since I came to college that has definitely helped me was, again, joining the Real Estate Society. And I am the marketing associate, so I put out posts and create Canva posts, run the Instagram. But I feel like an even bigger part of that was being able to talk to so many people. I get to talk to the members and learn what they do, what they're going into, what got them into real estate. And then learning from all the speakers that come into the events, I'm realizing that there's so much more to real estate that I didn't even know of before. You think the basics, selling houses, but there's so much more into that. I'm hearing about so many jobs, so many career opportunities that I had never heard of before, and I'm able to reach out and network to different professionals and expand what I know about the real estate industry. So I feel like that has definitely been the biggest opportunity for me to be able to network with the people that I want to be like in my future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned this time of getting to network with people and just grow as a people person. Mm-hmm. You also studied abroad, which is kind of, it's like international networking, right, with your peers. So how did that experience shape your personal and professional goals?
So personal wise, obviously, it just told me how much I would love to travel in the future. There's so much to see in the world. There's so much to see outside of the little bubble that we live in. So personally, it taught me that I definitely want to go out to see the world. But professionally, I feel like it taught me so many things that don't even like directly correlate with study abroad, but I've still gotten from it. Like, for example, I feel like it's taught me so much like independence, being able to figure things out on your own. Like, things aren't always going to be, easy. You're going to be kind of confused sometimes in a whole different atmosphere that you've never been in before. And that happens a lot in the professional world. You go to networking events and you're not sure how to talk to people. You're learning how to interact with people who are very different from you. And so I feel like independence was a big thing I've gotten from study abroad, just learning how to do things for myself. And then I also feel like, again, just learning different cultures in the business world, in the real estate world. I'm going to be talking to so many different kinds of people every day. There's never going to be a script that is going to work for every person. I could think, okay, I'm going to talk to someone a certain way, but that's not always going to work. So I feel like that happened a lot abroad. I just had to figure out how to interact with someone who's very different from me. And then also this summer, one of my study abroads I'm going on, it's going to be to France, and it's supply chain management, which isn't directly what I'm in, but we're going to be doing a lot of corporate visits while we're over there. And I feel like that's also going to help me professionally, just learning business in a whole different country. And then I'm also doing one in Japan, and we're going to the Japan Stock Exchange. So I feel like that is also going to be a huge growth in just more of my finance and investment learning. So
I think that diversifying your skill set and like you're saying, just getting to know other parts of the world and meeting different people is such a big component of working in, like you're saying, like real estate or really anything in business. Now, Josh, I'd like to move to you. You were deeply involved in various service projects, both locally and abroad. Why are projects like this important to you, and how do you feel that they will continue to shape you throughout your career?
Yeah, I think that question goes back a really long time because my parents actually met on a service trip in Mexico. So probably back in like the 70s or 80s. And so they kind of hit it off from there. And ever since then, my mom had been really involved with that orphanage in Mexico and continued to take my brothers over there. When it got to be my turn to go, we pivoted and went to Jamaica. I think this was like my junior or senior year in high school. And, we flew into Jamaica, we're kind of driving around the coast. It's really pretty. You see all the resorts. And then we go up into the mountains and you're just seeing like shacks on the side. And I wouldn't even call them a shacks. It's like a closet. It's really just like a concrete closet on the side of the road. And they're all unfinished. And so I asked the driver, I'm like, why, like, what are these buildings? He's like, those are people's homes. And like the reason they don't finish it is because if they do finish it, they won't be able to afford the taxes for it. So just kind of realizing like, the American perspective of Jamaica is like, oh, it's a beautiful resort place to go. But then you actually get up in it and you're like, wow, this country is really suffering. And so I actually went to work with a deaf village that week. So everyone we were with was deaf. So got to learn some sign language, and then also helped out the Salvation Army while we were there. But just kind of like seeing that perspective. And I mean, it's still a beautiful, beautiful country. Like, the people are impoverished, but they still have an appreciation for life that I think is unprecedented here. And then later in that week, we went to see like a hospital there in the mountains. And that was just like, it was heartbreaking. And it was just kind of, it really made you appreciate like what you have here in America. Because like seeing that for the first time, that perspective really makes you realize like, okay, like, yes, America's pretty big, but there's like a lot more out in the world that is struggling. So that kind of touched my heart in the beginning. I did a lot more volunteer work in high school, probably not at that level though. And then kind of moving into college, specifically with honors college, I've had 2 opportunities to kind of do like service learning, one with Ghana, and then recently was supposed to be working with the Philippines, an NGO in the Philippines, and then with like kind of current executive authorities had that opportunity taken away. So just seeing like, the world is in a lot more peril than you kind of think. Being in America, you're kind of in your own little world. So I think just having that open mind and realizing like, you're very blessed to be here, and you do kind of owe it to the world a little bit to go and give back.
How do you feel that those experiences kind of translate to what you're doing now?
So just, seeing the state of the world, the state of kind of infrastructure, realizing that nothing gets built in America unless it makes someone money. Those two things, I think, because I'm a finance major, so you always have to see the numbers in something. And so kind of realizing that nothing gets done unless there's a return behind it kind of makes you want to go into a field and see, like what can you actually do? What can you give back while, still making a name for yourself and still having an impact. So I thought that was important. I never liked finance because I didn't think it was like tangible or you had like a super positive impact on people. That's where kind of real estate came in for me, is just realizing, like you can still have a good life and you can still do a lot of good. And I think at the heart of like kind of the American economy is, just like growth and, people being able to have a community that they feel safe in. And I think kind of it all starts with where you live. It all starts with, the peace and safety that brings, seeing that and kind of trying to reshape that, trying to build more for the, forgotten rather than for, the wealthy. Like luxury condos and stuff like that is nice, but really where my heart lies is wanting to do like affordable housing. Recently we had like a case study pitch with USF, and I think every single group did affordable housing, but it was just really nice to see like all the government incentives behind that. That just makes you realize like, okay, there are things put in place to help these people out. So just learning how to use that, I think, will definitely be impactful in my career.
Yeah, that's really cool because I think a lot of people think real estate, and like you said, you think like high rises and condos, and like you don't think about, well, how can like you use your career field to like help someone else when it's been a career field that has like in the past, kind of done the opposite. So I think it's really interesting how you've brought like your volunteering experience into kind of like turning that around for your future. Kind of pivoting back to like leadership in general, being a strong leader is obviously a huge component to being recognized for your successes. Can you each share some of what the challenges of leaderships are?
So I'm in a fraternity, and a few years ago I was the community service chair along with one of my buddies, and it was a pretty difficult task corralling like 90 guys who don't really want to go volunteer their Saturdays to get them out to like a park to clean it up, or to feeding Tampa Bay to help them, move boxes or anything like that. So I think it's just like kind of creating that vision, or even if it's incentives to try and corral people to do something they don't want to do. I think that's where leadership lies in. It's not like motivating people to accomplish an object that's exciting. It's getting them to do the stuff that's not exciting. That's the work that, will lead to something great, but the reward isn't, right before their eyes. So I think that's kind of the hardest part.
Yeah, I agree. I think culture is a really big part of leadership, like creating a welcoming, accepting environment. I know where I work currently, I work for like a restaurant group, and they have like 5 restaurants in the Sarasota area, and they're opening something in St. Pete soon. But one of the things that I talk about with my boss all the time is culture and how you can create just like a welcoming environment when the work is rough. Because I know you think of like kitchen spaces, that's very like, typically not the best environment. It's hard on the body, hard on the mind. Like, being stuck in a cramped hot kitchen with like 10 other line workers, like it's not fun. So, but it's essential labor. So finding ways to kind of motivate outside of, financial rewards, I think that's really important. Just like having a welcoming environment, an open environment, accountability in your leadership, transparency, like that's the kind of stuff that I get into. And I kind of like look into further in my career, work on. But I think every time that I've tried to lead, like motivating people is hard, just to like, we're all college students, we're tired, we have 10 other things that we could be doing at any given time. So finding a reason to get people to come out and like work towards a certain goal, especially when it's volunteer work, is tough. But I think like making an environment that just like makes people feel happy, makes people feel welcome, I think is really the key to, getting that done.
Yeah, I do have to agree on that. It's just a way that is, but it's just actually really hard to bring everyone together to work together towards the same goal. And I'm not sure about you, but we like especially in the executive board, we get mad at each other every now and then. But it's kind of understandable because like everyone, I believe that is like really pouring their heart and soul into their work. So yeah, but again, at the end of the day, we're all here to learn. Leadership doesn't mean that you stop learning. You reach that kind of like peak and then you just stop over there. So yeah, it's like still a journey, and everyone is like trying to be there to learn. So yeah, I do used to think that, okay, growing a community it's like a myth. It's just like talk a big game, but then after actually doing it, it's actually like you're like playing that big game also. Like it's just really rewarding, and you make a lot of friends out of it.
All right, well, looking forward, do you guys have any exciting opportunities coming up that you can share with us?
I will be interning as a data analyst at the Navy Federal Credit Union this summer. So that's like really, like I really look forward to it. And also I want to kind of like put it out there. We're going to have another hackathon again next semester, and it's going to be way, way bigger than the one that we did this year. So again, I hope that they will listen to it and that they will know that my club is doing hackathon again next summer, and I want to invite everyone to that.
I will be going into grad school in the fall, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be, it's an MS in hospitality management with a concentration in corporate social responsibility and sustainability. And I'm going to EHL, which is a like large like hotel school in Switzerland. So I'm really excited to go there.
Again, I am studying abroad again this summer. I'm doing the two. I'm going to Japan for 3 weeks, and that's actually 2 weeks from today. So I'm very excited for that. And then I will be going to France for 2 weeks, a few weeks after the Japan study abroad. But then after that, I am planning to start reaching out to people, start shadowing. That is my goal, just reaching out to real estate agents and looking for an opportunity just to stand behind them for the day and see what they do.
Yeah, I'm going to stay working at my current land brokerage, kind of along the theme of, kind of bringing the affordable market. I got 2 big projects, one in Arcadia, which historically has kind of been a difficult place to develop. So just kind of seeing the activity around there is really eye-opening and definitely going to bring some affordable to that area. And then up in the Alachua County area, I have another large listing that will hopefully kind of bring some affordability into Florida. So that's grinding my summer away. Wish I was going abroad, but
Well, it was really nice having you all here and getting to hear about your experiences. We wish you the best of luck in everything that you continue to pursue, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're back in the studio. What do you think of the podcast today?
I think it was great, especially hearing about all of their leadership experiences and how their experiences now in college will kind of translate into what they decide to do in their careers.
Yeah, I think it's cool to like hear about like what they did in college from a group of people who's so different. Like their majors are different, like the places they've gotten involved are different. And it's just a reminder of like all the different things you can do here at USF.
If you're looking to get involved like the 25 Under 25 award recipients, don't forget to check the honor roll newsletter and our website at usf.edu/honors for all upcoming events, updates, and news. That'll do it for this week's episode. The Honor Roll podcast is recorded in the Judy Genshaft Honors College at the University of South Florida Tampa campus. Production assistance is provided by honors student Sandra Napolitano. Thank you all so much for listening. Please do not forget to rate and review our podcast, as we really appreciate your feedback. Please join us next week to hear what we're up to at the Judy Genshaft Honors College. Until next time, go Bulls!